So, who do you consider to be the greatest speedcuber of all time? If you didn't say Felix, this video is going to explain why you are wrong. So, the term GOAT, or greatest of all time, is often used as a way for us to show our appreciation and respect for the achievements of another cuber. When we say the person that we consider to be the GOAT, usually we're doing it in a way that actually relates back to ourselves. We're telling other people which one of the great cubers we relate to most and which one we potentially aspire to want to be. Usually the categories we're deciding from are pretty narrow, so most of the time it's a debate between whether you think Felix or Max or Timon or Yihang are the most deserving of the greatest of all time title based on how you see their achievements. Whichever one you think was the most impressive should ultimately be claiming the grand prize. But in this video, I want to argue that it's important not to mix up greatest with our favorite, and that there's actually a lot more importance than you might think to the title of greatest of all time. So if you're new to the channel, my name's James. I'm a movement coach specializing in the brain and nervous system. I have spent over 21 years at this point working with individuals of all abilities, including some athletes at the very top of the game. I've coached kids who have grown up to become Olympic gold medalists. I have worked with coaches from Premier League football institutions, as well as current Olympic and world-class athletes. I have not yet worked with a GOAT, but time may start to tell things differently, because the time part of greatest of all time is the really important distinction between somebody who just really is amazing and deserving of a favorite title and somebody who can be called a GOAT. And it's gonna be central to my entire argument in this story. Basically, what I'm gonna say is that to be worthy of receiving the title of GOAT, it is vitally important that you have contributed all, if not the vast majority, of what you are going to be contributing to your area of competition. Much like how the church ordains a saint only after their death, when their entire life has been completed, the most appropriate time to crown a cubing GOAT is actually when their career is already over. Failing that, you want to be reasonably assured that most of the kind of crowning peaks and achievements of the career are done and dusted. And the reason for this is that the people that we select and elect to become the GOAT don't just earn that badge within the speedcubing community. Their reputations are actually the ones that get broadcast to the rest of the world and serve to influence how the rest of the world influences our competition. And because of this, being the GOAT does not just require a huge level of achievement, it also carries quite a large element of responsibility at the same time. So let me try and explain why. There is a saying within a lot of the sports that I work in that professional sport is where healthy sport goes to die. When you start to add huge elements of competition and stress into the mix of something that should actually be quite healthy for you in general, the result is that that sport suddenly becomes detrimental to the elite athlete's health. Let's take something like football, for example. Playing football is a great way to keep fit and get exercise. Getting good at football is an even better way to start reshaping neural pathways in your brain and stimulate muscle growth. You could even say that getting good at football is going to be really great for developing your self-confidence as you see your skills progress. And even in the early stages of competition, you also learn how to engage competitively with other people in a somewhat healthy manner. Because once you've reached the peak of what you can achieve without causing any kind of damage to your body or brain, you can be guaranteed that somebody else is willing to make the sacrifices that you are not to make it all the way to the top. So what you end up with is like this negative spiral somewhere near the top where everybody is willing to sacrifice their personal relationships, their physical health, their psychological health, all for the purpose of gaining infamy. And if your sport starts getting a reputation for churning out individuals who are physically broken, psychologically distressed and miserable, you are going to struggle to see your community grow in the long run. Hence, we have the GOAT. This is somebody who comes in at the top level of competition, manages to maintain peak performance over a huge amount of time. So in essence, the GOAT doesn't just need to learn how to perform at the very top of their game, they also have to learn how to do it without needing to make as many unhealthy sacrifices or sacrifices in as unhealthy a way as everybody else within their sport. This is something that's hugely important to me as a coach, because when I look for new strategies and techniques to teach to my clients, I want to have some kind of a guarantee that I'm not going to cause any additional damage or health risks as we go. When I'm working with injury clients, this is actually kind of easy because we've seen the process of getting out of injury multiple times in millions of different ways. And one of the best places to look in these cases is, what did the GOATs do? You might not learn a whole lot from the actual strategies that they use. There's a good chance that a lot of them are going to be out of date. Some of them might still be useful, but you'll have to filter and pick based on what you know about current cubing strategies. But what you can also get from the GOATs is which strategies actually stayed the same over time. When they had to change and adapt, what did they do in order to learn a new skill set, alg set, or whatever in a short space of time? You can also even compare them to people who might have been their rivals at some point that crashed out earlier. Are there any differences? Are there any learning points that you can learn in order to make yourself a more healthy cuber rather than somebody who performs really, really well, but at huge expense to their own personal health? Basically the reason why I care probably a lot more than other people do about who we class as the greatest. And because of this, for me, Felix is really the only person who you could say even comes close to earning this title right now. Maybe not even. He's still very, very active when it comes to cubing. He still holds national records as far as I'm aware. But given his achievements, plus the fact that his sort of cubing career has lasted a lot longer than the entire duration of most people's, I feel like it's kind of fair to put him into that category at this point. People could also argue somebody like Max or Timon, given the amount that they've achieved, should be in the running for this as well. But in my opinion, I still want to see where does all of this stuff peak, because I personally think it's useful to know what kind of level people actually can get to. The GOAT also serves as a kind of litmus test for showing the true potential of different strategies that we don't have while people are going through it. So for this reason, I still think it actually should be a longer period of time before they can even be in the running. Then when we get to somebody like Yiheng, there's no doubts at all that the things that he is achieving are absolutely incredible, but Yiheng is also far too young at this point to pass any kind of litmus test in terms of time to see what the actual longevity of his kind of training is going to be. We just need more time to see how that story plays out. So that's my thoughts on the GOATs of speedcubing. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree. I personally feel like the GOAT is a title that can be applied to more than one person once we get a larger number of cubers who have gone through a significant period of time achieving really great things. I personally think it's going to be really great for improving how other people start to develop and learn their skills. But that's just me. Maybe I overthink it too much because it's my job. So let me know what your thoughts are. Leave them in the comments and I'll see you in the next one.